Welcome to the Whole Enchilada, a community of high achievers that fight the status quo, rebel against mediocrity, and make life happen. Let's go. Hello, Enchilada Nation. Thank you for being back for another episode. Really excited to share a productivity hack with you today that was a game changer for me in my personal business. Being an entrepreneur, you constantly have a lot of balls in the air that you're constantly juggling, wondering how do I keep all of this moving forward without anything slipping through the cracks. There is no quicker way to lose credibility with either your customers, your employees, or just any relationship you have. The quickest way to lose that credibility with them is to let things slip through the crack, not communicate back to them, and get back to them on their expectations of timing. This is one of the mistakes we make is we think, oh, I saw it, I got the email, I got the text, I'll get back to them when I have time to do it. When we have to meet their expectations, they sent you a question, they sent you an email with an expectation in their mind of when they're going to hear back from you. So ultimately, what I noticed inside of my organization several years ago is more and more complaints were coming up about little things slipping through the cracks that may, in the grand scheme of things, felt like little things, but to that specific customer, they felt like big things. And all of a sudden, I noticed we were spending more and more of our time and energy dealing with frustration. And if we were giving time and energy to dealing with frustrated people, what we were not doing is spending that time and energy on the positive things of moving the business forward. So as I thought about this as the leader of the organization, I created what's called the one-touch commitment, which I'm going to share with you today in hopes that it will help you increase the productivity within your personal life, within your businesses, and help streamline things and less things fall through the cracks. So here is what the one-touch commitment is. If you think about incoming communication first, incoming communication, we're getting more and more incoming communication from a lot more sources. We see new apps, new technology coming out every year, which ultimately is to organize your inbox or organize your voicemail, which in essence becomes one more platform in which people can reach out to you and is one more platform in which could cause something to leak through the cracks. So if you think about it, all forms of incoming communication could be included phone calls, voicemail, email, text messages, direct messages, Slack messages, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. People in my world, there's 1,000 different ways in which you can reach out to me, and you set an expectation to that communication of what you want and need from me. Well, in a busy world, it's really hard to know, I saw it come in, but how quickly am I going to respond? Or even if I see something with the intent of responding, if I don't have some element of a trigger using this one-touch commitment, I'm more than likely going to forget. It doesn't mean I don't have the intention to do it. I'm not being rude. I forgot to do it. So here is what we've established as the one-touch commitment. And a lot of this goes back to being really good at time blocking. So here is when a new communication comes into my world, whether it's by email, voicemail, text, whatever it is, here is my commitment to do it. Number one is I have to do one of these four things when I see it for the first time, meaning one-touch commitment. I either have to deal with it immediately and take it all the way to completion. Meaning if I'm time blocked this time to look at my email, if they're asking me for something, I must, if I choose this option, take it all the way through to completion. So it doesn't belong anywhere in my world. It was completed. So if I can't complete it, or I don't have time to complete it, I can move to option number two. Option number two is saying, okay, I don't have time to complete this now, or there's more pressing things that need to be done in my world than this, then I must take that and create a calendar item for it. So I predetermine when it will happen. One of the coolest tools that have come out that Gmail put out over the last couple of years is Boomerang in your email, which gives you the ability to actually say, hey, give this back to me tomorrow morning, or give this back to me Thursday at 2:00. In essence, what I'm saying is I don't have time to deal with it right now. And based on what I know about this task, it's appropriate for me to deal with it at 2:00 on Thursday. So I'm pushing it down the road, but systematically pushing it down the road to something that will trigger me. So that's option number two. Option number three is, no, this actually is a pressing item. It does need to get done, but I'm walking into an appointment right now. I immediately turn over and write it down on my success list. My success list are the items I've committed to do within that business day. So right now I've either, number one, taken it all the way to completion. Number two, created a calendar item or a boomerang reminder of when I am going to do it. So I've predetermined when it's going to happen. Or number three is I've moved it to my success list, knowing that my workday is not over until this success list is completed. There's one final option, depending on how big your organization is. And this to me is one of my favorite ones, is who can do this within my organization? I can delegate it. So number four for me is I can delegate the task. Someone on my team has been trained on how to do this. They know how to do this. They have the tools, they have the resources, they have the knowledge to do it. I can assign it to them. So ultimately, that is the step. Every single communication comes into me, whether it's via text or whatever it is, and by the way, Apple, if you're listening out there, one of the coolest things you did over the last couple of years was giving me the ability to make my text unread, so that I can make the text unread, so I can go back and look at it and then follow the one-touch commitment of either taking it to completion, scheduling a way for me to follow up with it. Number three is to move it to my success list to be executed that day, or delegating it to someone from my organization. So that is how I treat all incoming communication and train my team on it. Outgoing communication, one of the things that's most important to me with outgoing communication is we want to pat ourselves on the back because you made that difficult call. You called that vendor, you called that buyer, you called whoever it was. They did not pick up and you left a message. That does not give you permission or the ability to check that off your list as an item completed, because it didn't get the result that you needed. So one of the things that I think is really important is it's not enough to say, well, I called them, I tried, I reached out to them. It's if I call someone and leave a message, I follow the one-touch commitment of saying, if I do not hear back from them by Thursday at 4:00, it belongs back to me. I own the result. And this was a big one for me because a lot of times we'll mark it off our list if I've made the call. It was an important call. The action needed from that person or the information needed from that person was important to move the rest of the organization forward. But I marked it off my list as completed because I made an effort. I do not get paid off of just effort. I get paid off of results. And if I want results, I've got to own the activity. So one of the things with outgoing communication that I think is really important to think through is when you do an outgoing communication, whether via email, via text, via a phone message, whenever I send it, I always ask the question, if I don't hear back from these people by when will I take my next action? Again, Gmail, great job with Boomerang. And having that ability to do it is when I send an email, almost every email I send, I click the box. If I do not get a reply to this email by Friday at 1:00, put it back in my inbox. When it's back in my inbox, guess what I do? You guessed it. I run it right through my one-touch commitment, the 4 steps. Is there an immediate action I can take right now to move this forward? Does it belong on my success list? 3, can I reschedule it for a different time? Or 4, is there someone within my world that I can delegate this task to? And guess what? When I delegate it to someone, it's off my plate, but what are they running? Yep, that's it. The one-touch commitment. It's their now task. They own it. They follow up the one-touch commitment all the way through. Enchilada Nation, I hope this helps you with your productivity. To me, this has been a game changer in my communication. Business life is about communicating with people, driving to results, and doing it in a way that connects with them and helps them hit their goals too. Hope this helped. Don't forget, go live life on your terms.